Our last method of placing dimensions on a drawing is to use a concept called annotative dimensioning. Previously, we talked about placing our dimensions in paper space. If I go to Layout 2, I'm in model space right now. If I pick paper, now we're in paper space, and I have a dimension that was placed in paper space. The advantage to paper space dimensioning is that we only need one style. We're going to leave that scale factor of that style set to 1 because we're working in a 1-to-1 world. No matter what the scale factor of the viewport is, we want our text height and our arrowhead size to always be the same, so it works fine. If I go to model and I decided that I want to do dimensions in model, I have to have a style that has the correct scale factor associated with it, because just like our objects that make up our parts are going to be reduced when we look at them through a viewport, so will the dimensions that are in model space. So we have to kind of scale them up so that when the viewport scales them down, they appear at the correct size. The combination of the two is called annotative dimensioning. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and just delete this dimension, and I'm going to go up here and I'm going to create a whole new style. Okay, annotative. Whoops, I'm sorry. Go here, make a whole new style. But what I'm going to do is pick this regular, because I'm not worried about having that scale factor set to 4. I'm going to create a new style based off of regular. Okay, and the only difference between these two is not going to be a scale factor, but kind of a, think of it as a rolling scale factor, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. What I'm going to do is make this new style be called regular annotative, and I'm not going to change anything in the dialog box. I'm going to just say flag this style as being annotative. And when I say continue, the dialog box pops up letting me change anything, but I really don't need to change anything. I kind of changed something in here already by picking annotative on the previous dialog box. So that's all I want to do. I'm going to say OK. I have a brand new style called regular annotative now, and you can see it's got the little icon next to it. That icon means that this is an annotative style. It's the end view of our old triangular scales that we used to use on a manual drafting board, just to fill you in where that symbol's coming from. And I'm going to go ahead and close this now. Another thing that I've done in preparation for this is, let's get out of here, let's close that up because I was playing around with printing, is I have toggled on another item down here. I've gone in and said turn on the annotation scale. And now what's happening is that the annotation scale of 1-to-1 is going to be placed on any dimensions that I create. And what that means is that these dimensions will only be visible when the viewport that I'm looking at them through on any of my layouts are set to 1-to-1. If it's not 1-to-1, they're going to be invisible. And that's kind of important because in our situation, this is being reduced by a factor of 4. So we got to kind of, how are we going to handle that? Well, I'll show you. Because an annotative style is current right now, and I pick my linear dimensioning tool, and I say that I want to dimension from here to here, okay, and put that out there. There's my dimension. You can see it's pretty small. And if I go to my layout tab, I can't see it because this viewport is at 3 inches to a foot, or a 4 times scale factor. So I'll go back here, and what I'm going to do is pick this, and with quick properties being on, I can see, yes, it's using the correct dim style, so that's cool. But now there's an annotative scale. And what I'm going to say is attach not only the 1-to-1 scale factor, but attach the 3:1, there we go, 3 inches equals a foot, scale factor also. And I say okay, and I say okay, and now I just let go of that, and now there's 2 scale factors attached to this. And you get that little icon kind of showing up when you hover over it with that double symbol on there, meaning 2 different scale factors happen to be attached to that, 2 or more, I guess I should say. And if I actually pick it and zoom in on it, you can kind of see that, yeah, there's like 2 versions of this dimension. We'll just kind of ignore that. We'll hit escape and we're done with it. Okay. Now, if I go to this layout, it appears, because that dimension has not only the 1:1 scale factor associated with it, but the 3 inches equals a foot scale factor associated with it. If we go to layout 2, where we also change, remember initially this was at 6 inches equals a foot, we changed it to a more appropriate 4 inches equals a foot. And I'm showing you that both dimensions, the ones that are in paper space and the one that is in model space, are being shown to us correctly. I'm going to get rid of this one. We don't really need it anymore. We can understand what we're talking about. And I'm going to change the scale factor of this viewport. I'm going to kind of zoom out a little bit. And we're going to go back to that 6 inches equals a foot. So I'm going to pick model, and I'm going to unlock it, and I'm going to change the scale factor to 6 inches equals a foot. And of course it gets bigger, and because that scale factor isn't associated with that dimension, it disappears. I can't see it. I'm going to pick paper to get back, or pick model to go back to paper space. And I'm going to go back to my model, and I'm going to pick my dimension, and with quick properties I'm going to select the annotative scale, and I'm going to pick this, which brings up the annotation object scale dialog box, and I'm going to add the 6 inches equals a foot scale factor to it, and I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to say OK again, and I'm going to hit escape to let go of that object. If I zoom in on it, you can see that it's only showing, you know, the version that had that 1:1, because that's what was active when we picked it. But now when we placed it, when I select this, I'm going to see all the different scale factors that are associated with it. I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to revisit layout 1, and of course the 3 inches equals a foot scale version is showing to me. When I go to layout 2, the 6 inches equals a foot scale factor is being shown to me. It's a little bit of a tougher concept to grasp, having multiple scale factors associated with an annotative dimension. But if you kind of rewatch this video once or twice, it should make good sense to you.